Coach, on the way over, you said that last week you guys got better as a football team from week 1 to week 2. Talk about that progression and what it meant to be a better football team in that second week.
Well, we talked a lot about our potential and where we could be and how we hadn't done those things yet. And we talked about how we played defensively the week before and as many mistakes as we made, but we still played solid defense. So we kind of guided them to the point that, hey, if we cut out all these mistakes, think how good we could be. And we focused on, we picked 4 or 5 things each week that we're going to focus on and get better at. And we've fixed most of those, and then now we're fixing 5 more. So if we can keep fixing 5 at a time, eventually we'll run out, I hope. So we're this week we're focusing on a little different aspects of things that we need to get better at. I don't think our offense has reached its potential yet, but our offensive line's coming along. The young guys have really stepped up and started working hard, doing extra work in pre-practice and post-practice, and they've just really been doing a fantastic job. So I'm excited to see how they're going to progress as the season progresses. And the big thing for us is just focusing on little details, and the guys have really done a good job. I think our defensive line did a fantastic job of adjusting on what they needed to do, and I think that was really important, the way the offense we played moved the ball. So they did a great job, and I'm looking for them to improve just a little more and get our O-line in gear, and they've definitely made some great leaps. And, in general, just everybody getting one notch better.
It is youth, though, right? I mean, from a standpoint of the little things, they've got to understand those little things can make a big difference when they all add up.
Yeah, and the older guys, we have a lot of older guys in skill positions. They understand that. The young guys are still learning that, and that comes a lot with age and developing. And I think that they've done a great job of really growing up in about 2 weeks. So I think the more we continue to grow, our goal is to be the best we can be by sectional time, and that's what we're working towards. So as long as we don't digress, we'll be in good shape.
You mentioned the defense already, and I tell you what, they must have played very well last week. Was it beyond your expectations, or something you guys really planned on in game 2?
Well, I think they played about where we thought we would. We missed a few tackles that we shouldn't, as much as we drill tackling. So we refocused, because as coaches we're like, well, why are we missing those? We've been drilling it. Every time you say that, something's wrong. So we readjusted some drills to get us a little more what we want out of our tackling, and hopefully that'll pick up this week. I was really happy with our pursuit on defense. The week before, I didn't think we were as good as we should be, and I felt like everybody was doing their job pursuing last week. So, things like that improved, but still weren't great. And this team has potential to be great, and that's what we're working towards.
Coach, I talked with Owen a little bit ago. He just doesn't feel he's where he wants to be yet, and I really appreciate that out of a senior, knowing that he's got work to do. Talk about his progression through the first couple of weeks and what he has to do to get ready for a Winchester team that'll probably throw a few different things at him this week. Yeah,
I think, for Owen, he's as seasoned as you can be at quarterback, and he understands the offense. He understands how everything works. I think that he grew up with the O-line we had before, and the one that's developing now, he's still learning from and developing. But to be honest with you, this last week I felt like his leadership's been phenomenal. He was trying to take a little too much on his back, and he didn't realize he's just a point guard. Just distribute the ball and have fun, and he started to have a little fun last week, and I think this week he's really on point with what he needs to get done. So you come into a season, your senior year, he did every camp he could this summer. He did everything, every weight session plus extra, and throwing the ball. He did everything he could, and I know that he wants us to be great, but at some point he's just got to have fun and play the game, and I think he's finally realizing that. Now, he realized it about second quarter last week, and I'm hoping that he takes it with him this week and just has fun, because that's what they're supposed to do, is have fun.
Yeah, Coach, I asked him a little bit about communication, and I watch your practices, and I've been out here 3 or 4 times now, and watching you guys communicate on both sides of the football, and we're talking about 22 guys out there at the same time, whether it's the scout team and the first team offense or defense. Talk about your communication and trying to get all that coordinated together at one time.
Well, yeah, a lot of times guys want to have dummy calls and all this different stuff. We try not to mess with that, because we want to make sure we know where we're going first, right. And especially when we're young up front or on D-line or anywhere else, we're always trying to adjust each other and talk. If you don't communicate with your teammates, somebody's going to do something wrong. We don't want anybody assuming anything. We assumed a little bit the first game. We're not assuming anymore. So I think the older guys, have really taken charge there, and everybody's talking. It's really loud, and everybody's yelling and screaming and everything, but they're communicating. They're getting what they need to get out out there, and we'll make fewer mistakes if they do that. So I think they've bought into that concept, and we're doing it on offense and defense, and we know it's going to be loud, when we play at places, and they've just got to keep talking, keep adjusting, seeing things move around, and the more eyes that are on it, the better for all of us. So that's what we're trying to get out of the communication part.
Well, I tell you what, your concentration level better be right on, right, to get everything you need to get.
Yeah, you can't really afford to be tired and spacey in this, and that's what happens. They'll catch each other. If the guy doesn't do something right, they know they talk to each other about it, so they call each other out on it. And that's the kind of leaders we have on this team, and they know what our potential is. They know we are not there yet, and they know what we got to do to get there. So I think that they're going to keep pushing like that, and eventually we'll shine that diamond up, and it should look good, hopefully.
Well, tell you what, your diamond better be shining pretty good this week. I know Winchester's hungry for that TEC win after losing last week. Talk about what they bring to the table and what makes you nervous, because I know coming over here, you said this kind of way it is on a Winchester week. Things just don't seem to flow as well. Yeah. What makes you nervous about them?
Well, a lot makes me nervous about them. One, they're dangerous because they're 0-2, and they're getting better. They're running a new offense, and they're getting better at it, and you can see it. Their offensive line and defensive line fire off the ball really well. They pursue the football. They're always solid tacklers, and they're always physical. So we got our work cut out for us there. We're going to have to match that, match force with force, and get ourselves to hustle around and hopefully out hustle them, outrun them, whatever we got to do to get it done. But we know what we're expecting, and we're expecting a fight. 2 years ago was 14-13. Last year some breaks went our way, but if they hadn't gone our way, it could have been another one of those games. And so we're going to keep pushing and try to catch the breaks when we can. And if we don't catch any breaks, we'll fight till the very end, and it'll probably be pretty rough. But I think for the most part, the big thing that they're going to bring to the table is intensity and effort, and they're going to fly around, and they're going to hit, and they're going to scrap, and it's just, we like it, so we'll try to do it, and get ourselves in the position to do that back. And I think it could be a really great game. Coach Jones does a good job getting their guys ready, and they're always intense, and that's good for us because we need to stay at that intensity level too every week, because the week after another tough game, the week after that another tough game. So we're just going to keep pushing through and try to match force with them, I guess.
And the last thing they want is to go 0-2 in the conference too.
Yeah, that because they just won last year, so they're gonna do everything they can not to make that happen, and we're playing at their place, and it's it's a hostile environment. They're gonna be ready to go. They've got some great athletes, and they've got some tough kids, and another week under their belt with the offense. So I think that's going to make a big difference. It's going to be quicker. Things are going to happen more crisp, and we've got to really be on the ball.